If you're not into digital dating, someone in your family probably is, right? It's just reality for
Yeah,
us right now.
nowadays.
But now there is a new reason to just be more careful.
A recent study from Harvard University suggests dating apps could promote serious eating disorders. Nightside's Eric Glasser shows you the extreme lengths that some people are going to and why men might be at even greater risk when it comes to these bad behaviors.
Not eating and strictly just using Adderall.
Episodes where they just throw up, they eat like a lot and they just throw all of it out right away.
Those are just some of the shocking lengths that people say they or their friends have gone to looking for love online.
Just to, draw more people to their particular profile. And it's just, I'm like, that's a little too extreme.
The troubling trend, not as much of a surprise to Harvard researchers. A new study of more than 1,700 people who swipe left or right looking for romance or maybe just a hookup found people who use dating apps are far more likely to have eating disorders, unhealthy weight control behavior that includes fasting, diet pills, self-induced vomiting, and laxatives.
We know that there is impacts from social media, from using dating apps on our behavior.
Psychotherapist Lynn Nelson says the data suggests that apps might be encouraging people to take drastic measures. A quick fix generation addicted, she says, to the dopamine rush that comes with positive feedback.
When they don't get the likes or the swipes, that they start, they're blaming themselves. It's like, what's wrong with me? The body shaming. It must be, I'm fat, I'm ugly, nobody likes me, nobody's going to want me, nobody's ever going to want me.
The Harvard study looked at people between ages 18 and 65, men and women. Researchers found age, gender, even race can be a factor. But the overall conclusion was that dating app users were between 3 and 16 times more likely to engage in some sort of bad eating behavior than those that don't use them.
I personally don't know any women who have made themselves throw up, but I do know of a man that has made himself throw up, and I think that's bulimia and starvation and restriction.
Researchers found minorities had higher odds of unhealthy weight control behavior, and men who were twice as likely to use dating apps as women were often the worst offenders. For example, 45% of women and 54% of men reported fasting. 24% of women and 41% of men said that they had abused laxatives. And while 22% of women said they would self-induce vomiting, 36% of men reported doing the same. Men were also more likely to abuse muscle-building supplements and anabolic steroids.
It didn't surprise me. It just saddens me because
Dr. Nancy Wall calls herself Tampa Bay's only certified matchmaker and relationship coach. Her Tampa Bay Matchmakers service helps people find love the old-fashioned way. Physical appearance just one of several factors that Wall considers.
Because people are just swiping, they're looking at a picture and making a decision that way. But in the long term, it's not going to be a sustainable relationship, which is what I focus on with my business as a certified matchmaker, is what's going to make for a long-term, genuine, authentic, happy relationship.
Researchers don't know if people in the study were already engaging in bad dieting behaviors before ever using dating apps. But there's concern that even if they were, the apps are making it worse, encouraging users to focus disproportionately on image and appearance.
To try to achieve, remember, a certain look, to get more of the dopamine rush of the likes.
Researchers hope that dating apps will use the information to minimize the amount of discrimination and body shaming that takes place on their platforms, often right out in the open.
Really take a good hard look at yourself. You have so much to offer that you don't realize when you're just focused on the physical, outward nature of things.
You want to be the master of your own ship and not be, a slave or subject to any electronic social media or an app to tell you how you're going to feel that day.
I mean, go out, go play ball, go play soccer, go to a museum, go to the library, go enjoy the sunshine. And I'm sure you're going to find somebody that actually wants to sit down to you and have a conversation instead of swiping left or right.
It's important to really remind your friends that they're special and hopefully would help as well.
Yeah, and then you're not thinking about that so much. Now, the dating app Grindr caters to the LGBTQ community. It launched something called Kinder Grindr. That app enforces rules that bans the fat shaming and sexual discrimination.